Can you tell us how? Like, what's the big idea or biggest tip on how to cultivate the ability to accept that which we most want to kind of reject?
Yes. Well, so there are a couple of ways in. So I'll describe a couple of ways into the process of acceptance, but one that seems to be very powerful is when you notice that you're having an inner experience you don't like. Could be anger, loneliness, a craving for a cigarette, whatever it is. To notice what it feels like in your body, to actually think, okay, what is the experience I'm feeling right now? What do I sense? And maybe it's a pounding heart. Maybe it's heat and the sense that your skin is crawling. Maybe it's a sense of paralysis, like you feel locked in. Different emotional experiences, different inner experiences, they have these different qualities, sensory qualities. And when people pay attention to what emotions feel like, or what pain feels like, or what a craving feels like, it actually begins to change what's happening in your brain in a way that's pretty profound. You start to engage areas of the brain that pay attention to your experience, but don't necessarily evaluate the experience in a way that sort of adds suffering on top of suffering. And you create this kind of, it's a little bit of more breathing room around the experience you're having. So you engage areas of the brain that give you more behavioral flexibility, a greater awareness of what you're thinking and feeling, a better ability to predict the consequences of making different choices. So that's sort of one thing that seems to really help. And again, it's some kind of interesting trick where you pay attention not to the story in your head, but the direct present moment experience. This is what a craving feels like, right? This is, and I'm sensing it in my body. And that quality of attention begins to actually change the biology of that craving in a way that gives you more control and more freedom. And again, I found this very powerful myself with the experience of physical pain, sort of those inner experiences, one that I know best, where it's this funny kind of jujitsu. It's like you just somehow, by turning all of your energy and attention to the thing you would normally resist or push away, that somehow that quality of accepting it changes it in a way that gives you more control over it. And that's very, very different than what most people do, which is they try to distract themselves. And people often think, well, isn't that just better? Like, why wouldn't I just try to distract myself? Because then I wouldn't feel the pain, I wouldn't have to accept it. Or then I wouldn't feel the craving, and then I wouldn't be tempted. And yet, research shows that when people try to distract themselves from really strong inner experiences, what it actually kind of motivates the brain or body to do is just amp up the intensity of that emotion or that feeling to get your attention. And you end up in these sort of escalation cycles where it gets more and more intense and you're less able to distract yourself and you end up giving in or feeling defeated. So that's one way in, going through the body. I can give you some other ways in, but I should probably pause and see how that lands with you.
So, are you basically describing in many ways mindfulness and kind of that clear awareness of being able to observe the sensation as you described rather than the story that we create around it?